When it's time to quit, it's time to quit. If it doesn't fit, remit, reevaluate, move on, check out, get lost. Okay, that was a bit of a free association, but I want to tell you this, every human being, I don't care who you are, and that includes myself, are faced with situations in life where you have to quit, where you have to step out of where you are, the environment, the relationships that you are located in, step out, move on, and make huge changes. Life proceeds in a series of stages and phases. I don't care if it's a job, a profession, an occupation, or a relationship. There's a time to quit. There's a time to leave it. In order to determine it, certain elements have to be present in order for you or anyone to make the decision that I have to leave this situation. There is a misfit here. Not every relationship is meant to last forever. Many relationships are temporary, and that goes for occupation, jobs, marriage, romantic relationships, friendships. Some are meant to last forever, others are meant to be preparatory and temporary. There are certain people who are only going to be in your life for a short period of time, and then they're going to be checked out, or you're going to check out. So what is that quitting point? What is that turning point? What has to take place in order for you to realize, or for someone else to realize, that this thing, this relationship has to end? Just like infancy has to end, early childhood has to end, teenage years have to come to an end, young adult years have to come to an end. Each period of your life has certain experiences involved, enclosed in that period, in that phase. And when you have gone through all those stages and phases of learning, there has to be a transition, a moving on and a moving out, a quitting process. One example, in my 20s, would you believe it, I was part of another profession and I was very good. I was a hair stylist, a cosmetician. I was going to be in the beauty business. And I stayed in it for 10 years. But halfway through, something happened, something critical happened. Because it ignited something in my brain that said I had to move on. I was working on a woman's hair, listen to this, and my hand cramped up. That was a critical moment, and I said, I need to move on. That weekend, I went back to school. I went back to night school. I enrolled in psychology courses and English courses. The first English course I enrolled in, I wrote a paper. It was so fantastic that the professor read it to the whole class. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it told me I was a very good writer and that I had other proclivities, other talents. It was time for me to move on. And eventually I left that profession and entered a whole new world. The marriage I was in at that time had to come to an end. It had gone as far as it could, and it was time to quit. She needed to go in another direction, and I needed to go in my own direction. And I need to tell you, I profited emotionally, spiritually, academically, in a million magnificent ways. In fact, I was overjoyed to get out of that relationship. I got into another relationship shortly after that. And my mentor, my great teacher, said to me, you know something, Paul? that girl you're involved with, she's very, very beautiful, but she's going to be trouble. She's closed down, emotionally closed down. I didn't fully understand what he meant, but what he said stuck in my mind. He said there was going to come, he indicated there would be a point in time where you will need to separate from this person. It's only temporary. She will be trouble. Now, I came to terms with my relationship with my mentor, my teacher. He was an authority figure, and I chose to support him after being somewhat rebellious and critical. I chose to support his mission and his purpose, and we became best friends. But I had to move on. I understood my career at the Philadelphia State Hospital was going through a disruption by the government. They were going to eliminate those huge mental hospitals and change all the programs. I had another direction in life, private practice, my own skills. The day I left that place, my mentor said to me, "Paul, I'm depressed that you're leaving." I said, "You should have told me, I would have stayed." Communication. I moved on to private practice, and it became something huge. I realized ambitions beyond my wildest dreams, but I had to quit. I had to quit these previous professions, these occupations, those relationships. I had to move on. I formed another relationship. It didn't last. Once again, I was confronted with the idea, trouble. There's trouble here. I had indications when I met the family of that woman. Trouble, 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 trouble. Listen carefully to what I am saying. I'm using the word trouble. You may be the trouble. Maybe you don't fit into someone else's world. Maybe you don't fit into someone else's relationship style. Maybe you're not at the same growth level. You don't have things in common bonds. You're not able to enjoy each other's company on a consistent basis. You're not having fun together. Maybe you are bringing pain into her life or his life. Maybe that person is bringing pain and discomfort into your life. You are ultimately responsible for your feelings. But in the end, there comes a point where you have to make a decision to quit, to get out. And what is that turning point? It's an accumulation, and an accumulation. The more accumulations you start to experience, the more you get closer to that point of no return, and you say, I've had enough, I'm out of here, I quit, I need to move on, this is not working, this is creating more discomfort, more pain for you or for someone else, it isn't working. Fire yourself, fire the other person, hire someone else, and that goes for intimate relationships. Intimacy is a powerful force. You need to be able to connect with other human beings. If you do not fully connect, trouble, disorder will occur, suffering, pain. It's time to quit. In my private practice, I come across that so many times. People are trying to work on relationships, and no matter how hard they work on them, they can't seem to come together. Perhaps there's some debilitating disorder in that relationship, and it is doomed to failure. But it's not the end of the world. People can move on, and sometimes when you move on to fantastic and greater things. That has been always my truth. That whenever you reach a turning point, a critical point where you have to quit, you will need to know that there is something better and greater for you out there somewhere. Another stage, another phase of your life. A time of more trust, more joy, more happiness, more love, more success. At different stages of your life, you have different needs, different orientations, different belief systems. Belief systems can be altered, they can be modified, they can be changed. So can relationships. If a relationship doesn't grow together, it will reach a point where it disintegrates, where it's no longer profitable emotionally for everyone involved. Then it's time to quit. Are you in a situation right now in your life where you know you have to move on, up, out, over, and beyond? Up, out, over, and beyond. Do you need to be gone? Does this other person or this situation need to be out of your life? Do you need to be free of that occupation, that job, that profession, that relationship? Do you need to be free? Are you staying in it too long? I have treated many people who say, I regret staying in that relationship way too long. I should have gotten out of it sooner. But due to some sense of loyalty and faithfulness, that person or persons stays in that relationship with the hope that somehow miraculously it's going to get better. I am not ruling out that possibility, but if you're not growing together, the best thing to do is to separate. And the separation process is a whole story in and of itself, which I will cover in future seminars. Remember, when it's time to quit, it's time to quit. If it don't fit, remit. Move on, out, up, over, and beyond.